So the main thing right now is trying to find our clinic, trying to find a place for Newhouse. It's been all encompassing to work with architects, our civil engineer, our attorney, going to town meetings, trying to get approval for certain town land. In between all of this, it's like extra chaotic, but learning a lot about processes, and I think that understanding where the coolest task force approved us for the coolest property, but there are so many different processes in town. So initially, the plan was going to be when the coolest task force approved us, then we would go to the select board.
Yes.
But now that just got changed, and now the select board's not considering it until conservation makes their recommendations, and that wasn't the initial plan. So, but regardless, the way that it would work, I believe in any town, is it's going to take a year. I think it's probably going to take this situation probably closer to 2. And ideally, we'd have something we could move faster on, just because it's already too much.
Yeah.
The need is so great, though. You know, I don't know if it's
Yes.
because we had such a mild winter last year, but there are so many orphan animals. Massachusetts is the third most densely populated state in the country
Really?
as far as per capita. So
Wow.
there's so many human wildlife conflicts. You know, animals hit by cars, trees cut down. Most animals we receive, it's because of some human wildlife conflict interaction. So they need us. You know, and the community really rallies and supports us. So. Right now, the thought is looking at where we can actually purchase land, which obviously still sets us back, because now instead of trying to raise the $500,000 to build a clinic from scratch, now we're looking to purchase land, so we'll probably need to raise more than that. But I think that with the support of the community applying for grants, maybe we can get that done sooner than waiting for approval on coolest. And in the end, if we wait for approval for 2 years and then they say no,
Yeah.
then we're at square one. So
Who might say no at the end of 2 years? Are you talking about the state?
the state, the select board can say no. Conservation could say no right
Yeah.
now. So it's like the coolest task force had to say yes. I guess didn't even actually have to say yes, because they were saying it was just a recommendation. I'm confused by how that all went down, but we went to, I think, 7 or 8 meetings.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very intensive. Each meeting was an hour, and it's crazy busy. But the task force was great. They a lot of them were very supportive. And in the end, we got a unanimous vote, but that took a lot of time. But now it's kind of starting over with conservation. So I don't know. It's all so confusing, but I think that we're going to start looking in another direction now. So.
Could I ask you more about that?
Of course, yep.
What towns are you looking at, and how
trying
much
to-
land?
Yeah, I'm hoping for, honestly, we said 2.5 for coolest because we were really trying to make it work, but really we need like 3 to 5 acres.
Yeah.
So we're still looking at land in Chelmsford, and then all the surrounding towns, Carlisle, Westford, even in Tewksbury, we're looking in Littleton. There's even a select board member in Wilmington that's looking for land for us, which was really nice to hear that, you know,
Yeah.
someone higher up in the town wants us, you know, wants to help us get in. So, I don't know what we're going to end up doing. So I keep trying to update the public so they know, because a lot of people have donated towards it. So
Yes, yeah.
we have about 200,000 right now in a separate bank account that is waiting for whenever we, you know, figure out what's going on. But I
Yeah.
think right now it just keeps changing, because initially I was like, we'll get the land donated, you know, some people were very optimistic that we would get coolest property, and then it wasn't until probably about a month or 2 ago that the timeline became so extensive that I realized or was told how extensive the timeline was. We just keep adjusting and changing and trying to figure out how to work around it. I'm getting advice from other rehabbers that have done it themselves, and everyone's experience is very different, you know.
If you go to another town, Jane, won't it also be a long process to get all the approvals and everything?
If
Or
it's
no?
town-owned land, yes.
Oh,
But if it's
oh,
not
pri-
town-owned
yeah,
land,
then what? If it's private?
then it moves a lot faster.
Oh,
So I'm looking at land for sale in all around, like with Chelmsford, there's very little, when you're talking about a plot that's 3 to 5 acres, there's very little options.
yes.
So really we're having to look at all around Chelmsford as well, so.
Do you need running water and sewage
Yeah.
wherever you go?
We basically needed
So-
to have all the same things that someone's house would.
Well, wouldn't that make it extremely expensive right now to buy land?
It would.
It's like huge, just a plot, a buildable plot, it's at least 300,000 in Chelmsford
Yep.
right now, if not more in some locations. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be so hard
It
to
is,
pay
it
for
is.
all of this.
But,
If you buy it like with the water and sewage facilities,
yeah,
then 3 to 5 acres.
yeah.
Wow. But we're still holding out hope for Chelmsford at the coolest property, right? Now owned by the
It's
town.
possible, yeah. I think it's a backup plan now for
Oh,
us.
it's a
you know,
backup.
if nothing else works out over the next 2 years and
Oh.
when we get approved. But in the interim, I'm trying to see what I can do to find something else with maybe more land or
Nice.
something that can move faster. So
So
we'll see.
are you looking on your own, or do you look online for real estate,
Yeah, I've
for
been looking
example?
online, I've been talking, and I did a post yesterday, a lot of people responded with some ideas, so trying to look into those. The other problem is that this is during mid-baby season, so it's hard to put the time towards that when we're spending so much time in here taking care of the animals, taking the phone calls. But also it's hard to not think about it because we're so slammed. You can only fit so many people in this room. If we had a larger clinic, we could have more help, we could accept more
Yes.
volunteers, and we could accept
Yes.
more animals. So even though I'm really busy, it's hard for me to let it go right now because it's in my face every day that we don't have the space we need. I'm having to refuse people that call desperate because they found an animal that's hurting or suffering or their kids found it, and I can't, like I cannot with the space that I have, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of, can I interrupt real
Sure.
quick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you still want to be, this is separate?
Nope,
Okay.
this is good. My friend Crystal you can keep it rolling.
Oh, okay.
She just sent me a message. Her mother found a baby weasel. They can't find a rehabber. She's willing to rehab it herself.
No, she
And
needs
they
to bring
already
it.
fed it kitten milk.
Tell her to stop feeding
I
him,
did.
bring it here ASAP, and send a picture so I can assess the age.
Alright, that's what I said. Just making sure.
I can transfer it once we get it stable. Weasels, the nice thing about weasels is you can find a lot of rehabbers that'll take weasels.
Oh.
The animals that we struggle with are the possums,
Oh.
the raccoons, the
Squirrels?
rabbits, the squirrels,
Rabbits and
because
squirrels.
there's so many of them, so we struggle with those. But usually the weasels, the beavers, otters, things like that, they're less common. You
Yes.
can find space for them. So.
Weasels, are they common in Chelmsford? And what are the benefits of weasels? Do they eat little rodents
They
too?
do
or
eat a lot of rodents, yeah.
And
They're
eat ticks?
great
I
for
like
that.
it if they eat ticks, and all these animals eat ticks,
Yeah, a
if
lot
they
of-
did.
That's the thing, you know, and you get into and I don't want to get into a whole other thing, but you get into the rodenticide situation or the issue.
Oh, you want
and
to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, real quick, but
Yeah.
so many of these animals that I'm showing you, with the possums, the raccoons, the fox, the weasel that's coming in, they all eat rodents. And so we see secondary rodenticide poisoning, especially in the animals that mainly just eat rodents, like the foxes. We had a coyote pup in here day before yesterday
Right,
that
yeah.
its blood was not clotting, like such a delayed clotting time. And the only thing I could think of that would make it that delayed would be rodenticide poisoning.
Yes.
So in the past 3 coyotes we've received, all of them have trouble with their blood clotting. It's rare that I get a fox that's blood clots normally. So many of them are dealing with rodenticide exposure.
So you want people to stop using this mouse
The
or
rat
rat poison.
Yeah.
And rather than that, I saw at a Humane Society, a humane thing to do is one of those snap traps,
Yep.
which at least kills the mouse quickly.
Right.
And also there's no rodent
no
poison in there to
yeah.
kill that person. So, of course, then it could be put outside or something for the animals that
Right. Something
want
would
that.
eat it. Yeah, as long as you don't
But-
poison it. And then, you know.
But that's the way to go if anybody has problems, right,
yeah,
with mice
absolutely.
or rats.
Yeah. And there are more and more pest control companies are getting into other alternatives because more people are insisting that it not be used on their property. There are some towns in Massachusetts that are actually outlawing rodenticide use in their towns, and we're working with legislation to try to actually get it outlawed in Massachusetts as well.
And how is that going? Because you
It's so
spoke at the
slow.
State House, didn't you?
It's so slow. I spoke with the State House. Harvard Law School is working with the Department of Agriculture and trying to ask them to immediately ban the use of it. So there's a few different ways we're going about it to try and get them to stop using it because we're seeing so many animals dying of it.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, so we talk a minute about your wonderful site on Facebook. Most people don't. It's called Newhouse Wildlife Rescue, right?
Yeah.
People could find it easily that way on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you have, what was it, like 162,000 followers or something?
Yeah, something like
Something
that.
like-
Yeah, it's like over.
Could you think about that?
160,000.
This is a
It's
Chelmsford
pretty crazy, yeah.
rescue with 162,000 followers throughout the world, I believe, right?
It is throughout the world. So
'Cause-
even Nibby, who you were just filming earlier, has been on National Geographic.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
and she's also been on CNN.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we
I
had
love
that nice video there on CNN
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Libby, and she was like building something inside
Yeah,
here.
she had that viral video that had over
The-
11 million views. on
11
it.
million?
Yeah,
Wow.
I love that it's something special in Chelmsford that has gotten international attention that a lot of the community supports. You know, that's why I love being here. That's why I want to stay here.
Yeah.
It's just we're just struggling trying to find a way, but we're not
Yes.
We're gonna build a clinic, whether it's in Chelmsford or very close to Chelmsford, but we're gonna make it happen.
Well, every morning I go to your site on Facebook, Newhouse Wildlife Rescue, and you invariably you have one or two posts that I want to share on my Chelmsford Friends group
Yeah.
on Facebook, which has about 5,000 members.
Nice.
And you write so well, Jane. I don't know if you
Thank you.
realize that. Hey, did you ever take writing courses or something?
No, it's just something I always love doing. It's like Facebook's like a dear diary. This is what happened today.
And it's wonderful. And I'm
I
so
love
glad you
it,
have the
yeah.
energy to do it, though,
It's
because
that's
you,
therapeutic for me. It doesn't
Good.
feel like work at all, and
Good.
the feedback from people is recharging. If that makes any sense.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Speaking of the feedback, I was going to mention you get hundreds of replies or comments
Yeah.
to almost every one of your posts, and tons of shares too. People share it, hundreds. It's amazing.
It's crazy. I love it, especially because if you think about it, that complete success would be the animal never has to come in here, right?
Yes.
So if I do a post about how to live with groundhogs, how to keep them out of your vegetable garden, how to get a raccoon to leave your house without having to hire someone to kill it, and you know,
Yes. yeah.
if we save animals by never even having to see them, just by this video being shared thousands of times and the information getting out there, don't use rat poison. So many people don't even realize what it does. The minute they realize it, they're like, I never thought about it. Oh my God, I'll never touch it again.
Yes.
So that's one of the most important things about the Facebook page is
Yes.
we get the information out there and we save so many lives. We don't have to spend any money saving those lives. We're
Yes.
just getting information out there.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's one huge thing about it that I love. But yeah, definitely, I love the engagement. I love the comments. I love reading them.
You read. You don't read
I
all
don't
the
read all,
comments.
I can't
Oh,
read
you
all of them, but sometimes, like late at night, you know, when I'm finished feeding animals, or if sometimes if I've had a really bad day, let's say we had an animal pass away or something, and I'll post about it, and I'll go through the comments, and it's just complete strangers, but their words sometimes really, when I need to hear it, you
Yes,
know,
yeah.
it's incredible. It's
They must
incredible.
write such wonderful messages thanking you and your clinic for all that you do
Yeah, it's a
for
lot
these
of-
poor animals that are poisoned or sick or
Right.
hit by cars.
Yeah, they're very supportive.
God.
A lot of good people out there that want to see the animals being helped. So.
And speaking of help, you also have a Patreon
Yes. Yep.
system, right? And I'm one of your Patreon members
Yes,
too.
that's right,
Every
yeah.
month something goes automatically onto my credit card.
Yeah.
And you have hundreds of them right now,
Yes.
thankfully.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit
Sure.
how people could become a patron?
Yeah,
of
so
this?
Patreon's more, it's personal,
Patreon.
so it's not
Okay.
Newhouse Wildlife. That
Yeah.
the funds from Patreon go to me directly.
Yeah.
And that is basically a behind the scenes look at what's happening with the animals for people
Yeah.
who want to dive in a little bit deeper on
Yeah.
what's going on with the rescue, with the release, with treating an animal. All of us working in here together, what it's really like. So it's more it's video, and then they get to also help name some of the animals that come in
I see
here.
that, yes,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's a lot of fun. They get
It's
really excited
wonderful.
about naming the animals.
But you really do this because you're here full time.
Yep.
You probably work, I don't know, 70 hours a week or whatever with the feeding and the worrying about everything, but taking care of everything. Then you have somebody in the office now, don't you? Too,
I do. I have a
working?
full-time office lady right now that answers the Facebook messages that come in.
Yeah.
And then I have a full-time lady who answers the phones. But even then, full-time would be 8 hours a day, but the phone rings all day, all night, you know, so
yeah.
it's so hard to get to everybody. And then I'm usually handling the triage and things in here, and all the ACOs around the state and other rehabbers reach out to me directly on my personal cell, so I'm working with them to try and accept the animals, transfer animals, things like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just everything with trying to run the place. It takes us a lot of people working full time now with that as quickly as it's grown. I mean, before 50 was the max animals I would take in, and now we've taken in. We've got about 80 of them here now.
80? Wow.
And then, you know, I think this year when I talked to my office manager, we've taken in 350 animals, and it's just turning June, you know, already this year. So last year we took in 450 animals total. So this year we're going to be
Oh
way
my
over
God.
that. Yeah.
Because so many more people maybe know about you now and
Yeah.
everything. And on your Facebook page, you do have the phone number, right?
Yes.
Uh,
the
under
main wildlife number.
the main
yeah.
wildlife number. And that's where this helper can answer the phone or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And it's under, again, Newhouse Wildlife Rescue on Facebook. And also, you have links there sometimes if people want to help and donate,
Yes. Yeah.
either with financially through their credit card, or sometimes you post a list of what you need that they could buy through Amazon or something,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's great. That works out awesome.
And
Awesome.
people help out so much,
They
right?
do.
Like
And
that.
everything that you see, all the enclosures, all the food these animals are eating, like their wonderful meals and their blankets and their cushions and these incubators, everything is funded by the community. It's incredible. It's incredible.
That 162,000
Right.
member community, it's
yeah,
amazing.
It's incredible. And then even those who can't donate will just share the information. They're helping save animals by getting the information out there.
Yes,
So
yeah.
everyone's helping, and so it's definitely not a single person effort, but it's awesome. It feels good. You know, I feel like you're making a difference.
Well, you are, Jane. You're so awesome, and all your helpers are. And your fiance, Johnny, helps out a lot so much.
They're all great.
And is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up
I
our
don't
show?
think so. I think we pretty
We
much
could-
covered. We covered
pretty
a
much
lot.
covered?
Yeah.
Well, Jane, thank you so much for allowing us to
Absolutely.
come here from Chelmsford News.
Yep.
I think this is our third or fourth show that
Yeah.
we've done together.
I think so.
And I enjoyed every one because I'm a big animal lover.
Yeah.
Probably right up there with you.
Right.
Many
Yeah.
years ago, I was working here in Chelmsford, maybe over 30 years ago, to try to eliminate leg hole traps for beavers in the town, and we
Yep.
succeeded.
Awesome.
Because it used to upset me and some of my committee members so much, because to get an animal stuck in a leg hole trap is terrible.
So bad.
And I also worked, I was the chairman of the committee to get us a new dog pound
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
and we do have a nice dog pound now,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
animal.
I see it when I go to pick up my son
Yeah,
from school. all the
by
time.
North. Oh,
Yeah.
what school does he go
By
to?
McCarthy, is that what you're talking about? The
Yeah,
one
right near McCarthy. Oh, yeah. So what I'm saying is, I like animals. I love animals.
Yeah.
Kind of with you. That's why every morning I love going to your page. I love seeing your photos, your write-ups.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane, and all of your helpers for all that you do for our animal friends.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.